you responded to a tweet from Tom Gray from the Ring magazine about Gervonta Davis's fight for the WBA, which obviously we know is the regular title. I mean, what's your thoughts on the fact that that fight's kind of being sanctioned with that belt when we all know that you have all the belts?
Yeah, it's been touted as a world title belt, a world title fight, but it's not. There's only one champion at 140 in the 140 division, and that's myself. You know, if I've got all the belts, how can there be a world championship belt in 140 division while I'm sitting with all these here? And I think that's what's wrong with the sport today. There's too many belts and too many champions in weight categories. It's diluting the sport. I get why fighters want to do it, and because it gives them a ranking and gives them ranking and some kind of clout, and call themselves champions and raises their profile and things like that. But it is diluting the sport with all these belts and all these champions and franchise champions and regular and super and all that stuff. It's diluting the sport a little bit.
So if you were in a situation where you were challenging earlier on in your career for the WBA regular title, you win that title, you wouldn't consider yourself a fully fledged world champion?
No, I wouldn't consider myself a fully fledged world champion. No, but what it does do, it puts me in the window to get these fights, to get the big fights and get these rankings and push to fight for the titles. So it puts you in a strong position and negotiating position of who's getting the fight next. So if you're coming through and you get the chance to fight for these titles, you're going to go for it. So it's not the boxer's fault. I think it's the sanctioning bodies coming away with all these belts and titles. There's too much. It's too much. The fighter is very talented, and he's strong in his division, but I just think he's a little bit too small, I think. But you never know. He could catch me a shot and it could be game over, and you never know. It is boxing after all. It only takes one punch. But I think he's a good fighter, but I think he's a little bit too small for 140.
He does carry a lot of financial, he does have a lot of pulling around us. Is that a fight you should or would be looking to take?
You see what comes. Like I said, if anything, what happens at the time and it's right for me, I'll take the fight. I'm not going to duck or avoid anyone. I'll fight anyone. I believe I can beat anyone. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to rule it out.